Welcome to the new lecture of lecture series on network analysis and synthesis. I am Dheeraj Singh, working as an assistant professor in ABS Engineering College. So, in the last class we have seen how RL and RLC circuit initial condition can be utilized to find out the current in the circuit or the voltage in the circuit. Now, in this lecture we will discuss about the network functions, what are network functions, and the pole 0 plot. So, what will be the significance of pole 0 plot? So, these are the contents that we are going to cover today. First one, we will discuss about terminal pair and ports. What is terminal pair, and what is port, that we are going to define first. From that we will define what are the network functions for one port and two port, how it will be defined in case of one port and in case of two port network. After that we will see poles and zeros of two port, of poles and zeros of network function, how network functions poles and zeros can be plotted on a plane, and how the network function can be find out from the pole 0 plot, that we will discuss, and how what are the important points about poles and zeros, where they should be located, where they should not be located, that all we are going to discuss in our lecture. And then we will discuss about the necessary conditions, what are the necessary conditions for driving point functions and for transfer functions. So, first one is terminal pair and ports. So, each end of a circuit is called terminal. So, if I will see in reference to this diagram, that one can be said as a terminal, one dash can be sent as a terminal. This one can also be said as a terminal, and one dash can be said as a terminal. If I have a pair of two terminals, if I will talk about the pair of two terminals like 1 dash, or we will talk about the 2 dash, then these pair of terminals, two terminals, and we can supply energy through these terminals either with either on port 1 dash or on port 2 dash. We can apply energy, we can supply energy. So, these are termed as port through which we can supply energy or we can withdraw. So, 1 dash and 2 dash will be termed as a port. So, this is our 2 port network, and this is we have multi port network in this figure. So, this is about our terminal pair and ports. Then what is network function? So, network function is defined as the ratio of Laplace transform of output response, and if I will take the Laplace transform of output response in the circuit and the ratio to the Laplace transform of input signal, which is defined by D of S, and by assuming 0 initial conditions, that is all the initial conditions are neglected, that is known as network function f of s, that is ratio of Laplace transform of output response to the Laplace transform of input signal or input response, input signal D of s. So, driving point function, now in the network function we define driving point function and transfer function. So, what is driving point function? Driving point function is obtained from the ratios of transform of quantities. Quantities means here voltage or current, and it must be associated with the same port. So, for driving point function, when we are calculating the ratio, the quantities must be associated with the same port. For example, if I am trying to find out the driving point function Z11, it must be equal to V1 by I1, it must be associated with the same port, it must not be associated with the different ports. Now, when we are defining transfer function, then in that transfer function quantities must be associated with different ports, it must be associated with different ports when we are talking about the transfer function. So, for one port network, the driving point impedance or impedance of the network is defined as Z of s equals to V of s by I of s, because in one port network we have one terminal only. So, driving point function is defined as V by I, simply V by I. Now, when we reciprocal do reciprocal of the impedance function, we will obtain admittance function y of s, and it will be defined as I of s divided by y of s. So, this is for the impedance and admittance for one port network. For the two port network and that too without internal sources, the driving point impedance is defined as Z11, because they are associated with the same port. Driving point for driving point impedance, it must be associated with the same port. So, Z11 will be equal to voltage at port 1 divided by current at port 1. So, similarly, we can define other driving point functions also. Other driving point functions we have is Z22, in which impedance function at port 22, at port 22 dash it will be V 2 by I 2 of s. Then Y11 I 1 by V 1 of s, because they are associated with the port 1 1 dash. Then Y22, which is equal to I 2 of s by V 2 of s, which is associated with the same port. So, now we have defined driving point in case of two port. Now, what is transfer function, or what are the transfer ratio we can have in our two port? First one is voltage transfer ratio. So, obviously voltage transfer ratio. So, the ratio will be in the form of voltage, and the voltage ratio will be V 2, which is the voltage at port 2 and to the ratio of voltage at port 1. So, it will be defined as G 21, where 2 is the voltage at port 1, port 2, and 1 is the voltage at port 1, and G 12, which is voltage at port 1, and 2 the voltage at port 2 is V 1 by V 2 of s, because we are talking about the transfer word. So, due to transfer word, both the voltages must be associated with the different ports. Similarly, we can find out current transfer ratio, or it is also termed as current gain. It means alpha to 1, which is defined by current transfer ratio or current gain, it will must be equal to I 2 of s divided by I 1 of s. I 2 of s is the current at port 2, and I 1 is the current at port 1 1 dash, and alpha 1 2 I 1 of s by I 2 of s, that is current at port 1 1 dash and to the ratio of current at port 2 2 dash. This is how we can find out the current transfer ratio. Now, the next is transfer impedance. So, transfer impedance is Z21, because we are talking about the transfer. So, obviously, both ports must be different. So, Z21 means voltage at second port, that is port 2 2 dash, to the current at port 1, that is port 1 1 dash, and similarly Z12 will be equal to V 1 of s to the I 2 of s. And in the same way we can define transfer admittance. So, it will be Y 2 of 1, in which 2 will represent I 2 of s and V 1 by s, its ratio will give us the transfer admittance. So, whenever we have the word transfer, so both ports will be different depending upon how we are defining, whether we are defining Y 1 2 or Y 2 1. So, Y 2 1 means it will be the volt current at second port to the voltage at first port, and in the driving point we will have the same port associated. So, this is a question in which we need to find out our driving, which we need to find out the transfer function Z21. G21s is the voltage at port 2 to the voltage at port 1, Z21 which is again transfer impedance, which will be defined by voltage at port 2 to the ratio of to the current at port 1, and then we need to define what driving point impedance Z11, which will be defined by voltage at port 1 or 1 1 dash to the current at port 1 1 dash, because we are defining driving point. Now, the whole quantity in this we have represented by a single word, single impedance Z 1 of S. So, both are in parallel, 1 ohm and 1 by 2 farad, this one and this one both are in parallel. So, we have written it as 1 into 2 by S, 1 plus 2 by S. So, we got it Z 1 S as 2 by S plus 2, and this one can be represented by Z 2 of S. So, Z 2 of S will be equal to, both are in parallel. So, 1 into S by 1 plus S, S upon S plus 1 we have obtained for Z 2 of S. Now, this is we have Z 1 S, we have represented with a single impedance Z 1 S and single impedance Z 2 of S. So, on applying KVL to this circuit, we will get V 1 of S equals to Y 1 into Z 1 plus Z 2 S. So, V 1 equal to I 1 S into Z 1 plus Z 2 S, and the voltage V 2 of S, voltage V 2 of S will be equal to I 2 into Z 2 of I 1 S into Z 2 of S. So, now we have to find out driving point impedance Z 1 1 S. So, Z 1 1 S will be equal to V 1 by I 1. So, from this equation we will get V 1 by I 1 S, Z 1 S plus Z 2 S. So, this is how we obtain driving point impedance in a circuit. On further solving it, 2 by S plus 2 is Z 1 S plus Z 2 S is S upon S plus 1, we will get it as S square plus 4 S plus 2 by S square plus 3 S plus 1. Now, the second quantities that we have to find out is voltage transfer ratio, that is G 2 1. So, obviously, it is a transfer word. So, the voltage associated will be with the different ports. So, it will be V 2 of S by V 1 of S. So, Z 2 S by Z 1 S plus Z 2 S, that is obtained by dividing V 2 of S and by V 1 of S. So, on solving it, Z 2 S is S upon S plus 1 and Z 1 plus Z 2 we have find out this one, we got it as G 2 1 of S in this manner. So, next is transfer impedance we have to find out, that is Z 2 1. So, Z 2 1 will be defined by V 2 by I 1 and it can be find out from this equation only. So, it will be equal to S upon S plus 1. So, this is how we can find out our driving point impedance as well as our transfer impedance in the circuit. Now, in the next part, in the next topic is poles and zeros of network functions. So, poles and zeros are very important in terms of network function, because with the help of poles and zeros we can find out our response, what will be its time response and how the circuit will behave, how the response will come by watching the location of the poles and zeros we can evaluate. So, the poles and zeros or a network function is defined in this form Ns by ds. So, it will be equal to Bm, a polynomial in S in numerator and a polynomial in S in denominator, where S we all know that it is the complex frequency, which where S equals to sigma plus j omega. A naught A 1 up to A n are the, and B naught up to B naught B 1 up to B n are the positive real constants. So, these all are considered as positive, and n must be greater than m for a physically realizable network. It means the order of the order of denominator or the degree of d of s must be greater than the degree of n of s, and if it will be factorized, it can be written as in this manner, where A naught s minus z 1 s minus z 2 up to s minus z m, B naught into s minus p 1 s minus p 2 to s minus p n. So, the whole transfer function can be represented simply as k into n of s, where n of s is numerator or a polynomial in S, and d of s is denominator, which is also a polynomial in S. We can define the transfer function in this manner, and k is defined as A naught by B naught, k is defined as A naught by B naught and is also known as scale factor, and z1 z2 and up to zm, these are roots of numerator, and p1 p2 up to pn are roots of denominator. So, a1 up to, so z1 up to zm are the roots of numerator and p1 up to pn are the roots of denominator. From here we define poles. The complex frequency, when the complex frequency, that is S, is equal to p1, p2 or up to pn, the f of s, when the complex frequency is equal to p1 up to p1 p2 or any value it will attain up to p of n, in that case f of s will be equal to infinite. In that case f of s will be equal to infinite. So, p1 p2 up to pn or the roots of denominator are called as poles of the network function. So, the roots of d of s are known as poles of the network function. So, when complex frequency s is equal to z1 up z2 of zm, अगर मेरी complex frequency s equal हो जाती है z1 z2 या फिर zm के equal, in that case what we got, f of s equals to 0. For that we got the network function as 0. So, that frequency which make the network function 0 is known as zeros of the network function, and the frequency which makes the network function infinite are known as poles of the network function, and the poles are denoted by a cross and the zeros are denoted as O. This is how we represent poles and zeros. We denote poles and zeros. Now, there are certain points about poles and zero. So, poles and zeros are represented graphically as sigma. We have a horizontal axis sigma and we have a vertical axis j omega. So, we have a real axis and imaginary axis, and in this we represent our poles and zeros. Poles are represented by circle and the zeros are represented by circles and poles are represented by cross. So, you can see here we have represented, and this one is known as S plane, where we have real part and imaginary part, real part sigma and imaginary part is j omega. This one is known as S plane, and we can locate poles and zeros in S plane in this by representing poles with cross and zeros with circle. So, we all know poles and zeros are useful in describing a network function. So, the network function is completely defined by its poles and zeros. So, if the poles and zeros are not repeated, they are said to have simple. अगर मेरा pole या zero कोई repeat नहीं कर रहा है, then it is known as, then it is said to have simple poles and zeros. If the poles and zeros are repeated, if it will repeat, then we can say there are multiple poles and zeros. And then there is a term also, that is minimum phase function and non minimum phase function. So, minimum phase function and non minimum phase function depends on where the zeros are lying. If the zeros are on, if a network function having all the left half plane zeros, it is called as minimum phase function. अगर सारे zeros left half में हैं, then it will be known as minimum phase function. And with any zero, if I have any zero in right half plane, अगर एक भी zero right half plane में आता, then it is known as non minimum phase function. So, a network function minimum and non minimum will depend on the location of 0. If it will be on the left hand side, it will be minimum phase function, and if it will be on the, if any of the 0 on the right hand side, it will be known as non minimum phase function. We can also define our stability from the location of poles. A network function is said to be stable. We will say that network function is stable if all the poles of the function lie in the left half plane. If all the poles lie in the left half plane, we will say the network function is stable. That is, for left half plane, the real part of pole, all poles must be negative. If any of the real part of pole will come in right half plane the system will become unstable. If all the poles lie on the left half plane, that is real part of all poles is negative, the system is stable. This is how we can define stability also from the poles and zeros. So, next is we have to find out the network function from pole 0 plot. So, in the question we are given with pole 0 location and we have to find out the network function, as well as we are provided with the scale factor which is known as f of 0. So, k which is known as scale factor is equal to f of 0 and it is given as 1, and the transfer function can be defined as f of s equals to k into n of s by d of s, that is polynomial in s in the numerator to the polynomial in s to the denominator. After that we will find out where are poles and where are zeros in our network function. So, in this figure we have poles located at minus j 4 as well as plus j 4. Two poles are located, one at plus j 4 and one at minus j 4. So, we have poles at plus j 4 and minus j 4. After that we will see the location of zeros. We have a 0 at plus j 2 and we have a 0 at minus j 2. So, zeros are at plus j 2 and minus j 2. Now, we will find out n of s and d of s. N of s is s plus j 2 which represent the location of 0, and s minus j 2 and combine it with get s square plus 4, and d of s is s plus j 4 divided by s minus j 4. So, we will get it as s square plus 16, and we can define f of s as k into n of s by d of s, we will get it our network function. This is how we can find out our network function from pole 0 plot. So, there is another question on the in which we have to find out the impedance z of s, and we are given our scale factor z of 0 as 3, and we have to find out the driving point impedance z of s. Again the standard form is z of s equals to k into n of s by d s. K is scale factor which is z of 0 equals to 3. Now, in this question we have a pole, we have complex poles, one is at minus 1 plus j, this will be j, and this is minus 1 minus j. So, poles are at minus 1 plus j and minus 1 minus j, and we have a 0 at s equals to minus 3. So, 0 is at s equals to minus 3. So, n of s will become by defining 0 s minus minus 3 or s plus 3, and d of s as s minus minus 1 plus j 3 minus 1 minus j 3, and d of s we got it as s plus 1 whole square plus 9, and we can define our network function as k into n of s by d of s. So, this is how we can find out our network function from the pole 0 location, providing that we are given with scale factor. Now, we will discuss about the necessary conditions for driving point function. So, what are the necessary conditions for driving point functions? So, there are certain conditions only then our driving point function can exist. So, the first is coefficient of polynomial of n of s and d of s or of f of s equals to n s by d s must be real and positive. So, it means if I have a polynomial n of s as this one, all the coefficients must be positive and real, like the coefficient of s cube is 1, this is positive and real, s square coefficient is 2, this is also positive and real. So, all must be positive as well as real, only then our driving point function will exist. Similarly, in d of s the coefficient is 1, s square coefficient is 4, s power 1 coefficient is 3, and 1. Now, the poles and zeros of n of s and d of s must be either real. Second point is pole and zero must be either real, or if complex or imaginary must occur in conjugate pair. It means that we can have pole or 0 at -1, that is real, -2 which is also real, and if it is imaginary it must occur in conjugate pairs. We cannot have a single pole at -2 plus 3 j or -5 plus j. We must have the conjugate pair like -2 plus 3 j and -2 minus 3 j. This cannot exist for a driving point function. The real part of all poles and zeros, the real part of all poles and zeros must be negative or 0. If I will talk about the real part of poles and 0, it must be negative or 0. If the real part is 0, then the pole or 0 must be simple. Simple means it must not be repeated. For example, we can have a pole or 0 at -2 or -2 plus minus j must be negative, or it can be 0 also. So, real part of all poles and zeros must be negative or 0, it can exist. So, if the real part is 0, the pole or 0 must be simple. We cannot have pole, multiple pole in the network function. Now, the polynomial, next point is the polynomial, next point for necessary condition is polynomial must not have a missing term between the highest and lowest degree. It means, if I am starting for ns or ds with s to the power 4, all the coefficients must be present for every power. S to the power 4 as a coefficient 1, s to the power 3 as a coefficient 1, s to the power 2 as a coefficient 2, s to the power 1. So, s to the power 4 is highest and s to the power 0 is lowest. So, all the coefficients are present from s to the power 4 to s to the power 0. So, this is condition for network function to driving point network function to exist, or this is not possible because s to the power 4 we have, s to the power 3 we do not have s to the power 2. So, this is invalid for a driving point function unless all even or all odd terms are missing. So, in case we have only even terms, this is also valid, and in case we have only odd terms, this is also valid for a driving point function. So, degree of n of s may differ by 0 or 1 only. So, if I will talk about the driving point function z1 and s, it will be the degree of n of s is the degree of its degree is 3 and its degree is 2. So, this is valid, may differ by 0 or 1. Here degree is 2 and here also degree is 2. So, difference is 0, this is also valid. Here difference, here degree is 2 and degree is 0. So, it can differ by 0 or 1 only. The difference is the difference in degree of numerator to denominator is 2. So, this is not a valid driving point function. So, the lowest degree of ns and ds may differ at most by 1. So, the lowest degree is s to the power 0 and the lowest degree of s to the power is s to the power 1. So, the difference is 1. So, this is valid. So, these are the some necessary conditions for driving point function. So, these are some necessary conditions also for transfer function. Again this one is same as driving point function, this one is also same for same as driving point function, which will also exist for transfer function. Real part of poles must be negative or 0, that we have discussed what does it mean, and it will also exist for transfer function. This includes the pole at origin. The polynomial ds cannot have any missing term. This is same that we have discussed in driving point function. There must not be any missing term between highest and lowest degree unless all even or all odd terms are missing, and polynomial may have missing term between highest and lower degrees and some of its coefficient may be negative. In this case, some missing term are permissible and some of its coefficient may be negative also. and degree of numerator is independent of the degree of d of s and can never be 0. So, its degree does not matter as compared to driving point function, and for the voltage transfer ratio and the current transfer ratio, the maximum degree of NAS must be equal to d of s. So, numerator maximum degree is equal to, it cannot be greater than the degree of denominator, and for the transfer impedance and transfer admittance, the degree of N of s can exceed the degree of d of s. So, for voltage transfer and current transfer ratio, the degree of numerator is maximum to the degree of denominator, and for the transfer impedance it can exceed to the degree of denominator. So, these are the reference book that you can use, and thank you so much.